Now, let's solve and graph some addition inequalities. Just a heads up, this is just like before, just like equations, it's very similar. It's very similar, and you can basically solve it quickly. Let's see. First example, we need to solve x plus 3 is greater than 10. We need to check our solution, and third step, and third thing, we need to graph the solution set on a number line. So part A, let's solve the inequality. First, we have x plus 3 is greater than 10. What do we need to do? All we have to do is let x be on one side only. And by saying one side means we need to get rid of the 3. How do we get rid of plus 3? All we have to do is make minus 3. And if we do minus 3 to the left hand, we need to do minus 3 to the right hand. So 3 and 3 are gone. Now what do I have left? I have x left over in here. Greater stays the same, greater. 10 minus 3 is going to be what? 7. So what's the result of then any inequality? X plus 3 is greater than 10 is the same as x greater than 7. Okay, let's check our work. What does it mean when I say x is greater than 7? That means in here, if I take the place of x and put any other number that is greater than 7, it's going to make the inequality true. Is that true? Let's see in here, on the right. Instead of x, let's write 8, because they said it should be greater than 7. Is 8 plus 3 greater than 10? Well, 8 plus 3 is 11, and 11 is actually greater than 10. If you use, for example, instead of x, 10 plus 3 is what? It's going to be 13. And 13, obviously, is bigger than 10. How about if I choose the 7 itself? Just like before, in normal equations. 7 plus 3 going to be what? Going to be 10. Is 10 bigger than 10? No, it's not bigger than 10. Obviously, it's the same. And in this example, they didn't say greater or equal. No, they only said greater. So that means anything bigger than 7 gonna be what? Sorry. Anything greater than 7 gonna be the right answer. Let's just erase that because we have the last part. If you wanna guys skip this part of the video, the erasing, unless you're liking erasing. Let's see. How do we graph? We said the answer is what? X is bigger than 7. All we have to do is find the number line. And by the way, you don't always have to write the 0. Sometimes maybe we are facing big numbers, so we start from any numbers that are close to that number. In this case, since it's 7, we wrote 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and bigger than 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and keeps going. Now, remember the circle. In this case, in this example, it was greater. As you can see from the beginning, it was greater. And we said when it doesn't have greater or equal, what does that mean? That means open circle. You need to do open circle. And x is actually bigger than 7. That means it keeps going to what? To the right. Because it's bigger than 7. Let's try to solve this example. In here, it's not solved, so let's try to help each other solve this. We have 6 plus h is less than or equal than negative 9. We need to graph the solution set. First part, we need to solve this, which is 6 plus h is less than negative 9. Now, how do we get rid, do we find h? How much is it less or equal to? If you remember, we have two methods. The first method, which is the one we just solved, by basically get rid of this number. The second method, if you guys remember what we used to study, you can just basically carry the 6 to the other side. But in this case, let's just try to do on the first step. First method, 6 plus h is less than or equal to -9. What do we need to do? We need to get rid of this, the 6. Now this 6, is it positive or negative? Obviously it's positive. How do we get rid of it? By giving it exactly what she doesn't want, which is, in this case, since it's a positive 6, give it a negative 6. So that means give it a -6 from this side, -6 from this side, and let's see the results. 6 minus 6, it's gone. What do we have left? H. Less than or equal to -9 minus 6. I'm going to give you a few seconds to actually count that. Is the answer going to be positive or negative? Obviously the answer going to be in negative. Why? Because you borrowed 9 and then you borrowed another 6. So that basically means it's a 9 plus 6. Well, the answer is in negative. And 9 plus 6 is what? 15. Can we double check our work? That means h should be any number that is less or equal than -15. How about if we put the -15 itself from the first one in here? From here. Let's say 6 plus, instead of h, let's write -15. Let's see, is our work correct? This side should be less or equal than -9. Okay. 6 plus -5 is -15, sorry, is what? You have positive, which means you have something in your pocket. Then you have negative, which means you owe somebody.